For those of you who know me in real life, you know I'm a massive off-road guy. I've always driven trucks before this Leaf. I had a Ford Explorer Sport Track that I would take mudding every time it rained. We have a Ford Econoline that's been lifted and meant to go crazy in buffs. We have a lifted Ford Econoline that's meant to go anywhere off-road. Lifted 4x4 conversion, whole nine. And honestly, I enjoy driving a truck more than I enjoy driving a car. Anyway, point being, I enjoy driving electric cars, I enjoy driving trucks. I would love to drive an electric truck. Now, some time ago, there was rumors online, mainly the Chevy Volt Facebook page, about a four-wheel drive plug-in hybrid Chevy Colorado called the Chevy Watt. Now, I haven't heard much about the Chevy Watt in a while, but a couple days ago, or maybe last week, GM released something called the Colorado, ZH2. It's a military version of the Chevy Colorado meant for light reconnaissance work. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The ZH2 is hydrogen powered, four-wheel drive, has 37-inch tires, 14 inches of ground clearance. Like, it is the dream off-roader for me. Right? And it looks amazing. I'll pop up some pictures right here. And when you look at it, it looks nothing like a Colorado. But once you get on the interior, most of the switchgear, gauges, paneling, everything is pretty similar. Now, seeing that ZH2 for the military kind of gives me hope that the Watt might actually come to production. Because in reality, right now, there's a massive vacuum when it comes to electric trucks, or even plug-in hybrid electric trucks. The last one that I heard of was a VIA Motors truck, but that was well over $100,000 and had about the same battery pack as my Nissan Leaf, 24 kilowatt hours. It's not that big a battery pack, and in all reality, it's a very well done conversion, but the price is just not worth $100,000. Now, this ZH2 isn't a pure electric car. It actually is a fuel cell vehicle. That being said, most of the technology involved in a fuel cell vehicle is very similar to the technology that's in a plug-in hybrid vehicle. There's a small battery pack in a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle that maintains a base charge, or at least enough power to do everything you need to do. And the fuel cell itself acts a lot like a plug-in hybrid vehicle, where it generates power once the battery runs low. If you look at the Toyota Mirai or the Honda Clarity, it's very similar to a Chevy Volt. All you need to do is swap out the gas motor for a hydrogen fuel cell. Now, in terms of mass market production, I don't believe that the fuel cell is going to be the best way to go. For one, I don't even know where to find a hydrogen refueling station in Las Vegas. I actually don't know where one is. I know there's quite a few in California, but there's not as many hydrogen fueling stations as there are gas stations or as there are electric car charging. If they were to bring a production version of the ZH2 to the civilian market, I think it would be much better to go with the standard 4-cylinder generator unit that they have in the Chevy Volt. That being said, I want an electric truck so bad. I miss going off-roading. Well, I still go off-road. I have my trucks. But still, it'd be so awesome to go off-road in like a silent electric truck and hear the water flapping against, or either way it slaps against the bottom. Anyway, back to some tech specs on the truck itself, the Chevrolet ZH2. It's built on the Chevy Colorado chassis. The exterior looks extremely different. It has a very militaristic look. It looks like a Humvee and a Jeep Cherokee had a baby. Like, it's got those eyebrow DRLs on it. It has the low mounted headlights. It looks just like a Jeep Cherokee a Humvee had a baby. There's no other way to describe it. Either way, I love the way it looks. It looks amazing. And the interior is a very Chevy Colorado. Almost all... Hey, Polaris Slingshot. Almost all the interior components are stock Colorado except for the front wheel diff lock, which it now has front and rear axle diff locks, which is a very nice feature. I would love to have that in a production version of that truck for civilian use. The tires that they had on when they unveiled it was a 37-inch set, fitting under the stock fenders, but the truck was lifted compared to the Colorado. It had 14 inches of ground clearance, which, if I remember correctly, is very close to the Humvee. And to achieve that for the Humvee, they had to use portal axles and all kinds of much heavier technologies. Well, not technologies, much heavier engineering. Also, something I'm really excited for is the fact that both GM and Tesla have plans to debut an electric truck. Granted, it looks like at this point in time, GM is much further along since they already have a military concept in mind. Also, when it comes to off-roading, I don't think a full electric vehicle is the best bet, mainly because driving off-road, it inherently is not as efficient as driving on road. The surfaces aren't nice and paved. You're going at either you're slipping, you're losing traction. There's a large amount of inefficiencies when it comes to driving off-road. In terms of having a plug-in hybrid vehicle, that's probably the best bet to go for a vehicle that's meant to be off-roadable. Take the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. We never got that in the States, and honestly, that was a vehicle I was really hoping they would bring. They kept on pushing it back further and further. But that vehicle, it's the way I see it, it's the perfect vehicle for light off-roading. Just because of the sense it has its plug-in hybrid capabilities. And it's the same thing for the military. The military needs to have that flexibility, right, when it comes to their driving. Anyway, to summarize on whether I think that the Colorado ZH2 might be the precursor to the Chevy Watt, I really think it's a good sign in terms of bringing an electric truck to the production consumer market. Plus, in 20 or 30 years, we might be able to buy some of these old ZH2s at government auctions, just like we buy Humvees and LMTVs and HEMMTs and all these other military vehicles. And how cool would it be to have one in your driveway? It's like those old K5 Blazers, actually. If you like this video and you want to see more of this whole electric car type renewable vehicle or renewable energy powered vehicle thing, just hit subscribe, hit like, comment, do whatever you do on the YouTubes, and have a good one.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. You?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. What can I get for you?
Could I get 2 $5 big boxes with the quesadillas?
Alright, regular or cheddar habanero?
Regular.
Alright, what kind of drinks?
2 Mountain Dews.